Throughout all of gaming history, there's been scam games, games in rough states, asset flips, just low quality games, games that were so bad that their studios had to shut down. But it's been a while, and I don't know if I've ever seen a game that was all three, and that's what the day before is, which is a game that was recently released and recently deleted as well from the Steam page. So I just want to talk about this. So first of all, we're just going to start with kind of some warning signs that kind of came out straight away. This game released their trailers through IGN and just through like their own sources, and they were promising a lot. It was going to be a multiplayer like extraction game with zombies and good graphics, maps. It was going to be a really cool game, right? The trailers were cool. Everything was cool, but a lot of people, there were some warning signs. You know, they were worried about it wasn't gonna be anything like this, right? And this game gained so much hype because it looked so cool that it became the number one game wishlisted on Steam for quite some time. But shortly or recently, I don't know how long ago now, a week or two ago, the game released the day before. It's called the day before, and well, shortly after released, it shut down. Now, why did it shut down? Well, the reason it shut down is because it was terrible. The game itself was terrible. The multiplayer barely worked. People could not get into games. Some of it was like, oh, you know, developers said, oh, there's a lot of people playing the game, but it was mostly because the servers were bad, right? The game looked terrible, it played terrible, it was full of glitches, and it was a scam. It was an asset flip as well. The whole map that you play the game on was an asset flip. Literally. Straight up. Nothing, maybe a few things were their own, and anything that was their own just didn't work. The game just played terribly, it was basic, it was boring, and it wasn't fun to play. Only a few zombies could even spawn on the on the map at a time, which just, I mean, obviously you can't have that. Could you imagine playing like Call of Duty Zombies and it says you're the first round, you know, there's gonna be a huge horde of zombies, and then like 3 zombies come, and also you gotta remember that these zombies, which can only like be a max of like 10, I think, are spawned across a huge map which is filled with barren nothing, and yeah. So this kind of reminds me of a game that I talked about, which was Greed of Man, where it's just an asset flip, where the developer made promises and made it look cool, and we're like, oh, next GTA, or like, for this, next Last of Us. And that brings me into the next topic, which is how they completely plagiarized The Last of Us. I mean, just look at the promotional material, and side to side with The Last of Us, the day before The Last of Us, I mean, it's very similar. They're both zombie games, and the like the title screen or like the main posters for it or whatever you want to call it were exactly the same. And the developers had some pretty interesting responses to this. I'll just put a few of them up on screen. It was all, oh, the game's gonna get better, it's gonna work, it's not a scam. And well, it was kind of a scam. This, I feel like, was one of those games where they made a cool trailer. They were like, oh yeah, this is gonna work out well for us. A ton of people are gonna buy the game. There was no pre-orders for the game. A ton of people bought it, and a ton of people refunded it. So, also, I just want to say how stupid this is. If you were going to run a scam, Steam keeps, like, a lot of jobs, how they pay. They get all the money from the thing, and they hold it until the end of the month, where they pay the developers. But the developers didn't last long enough. It was literally, like, 2 or 3 days, or maybe even less. And all of a sudden, the developer was gone. The game was off of Steam, and it was basically over like that. And this is just an interesting situation. I mean, they have plagiarized, scammed, asset flipped, stolen ideas, generated a massive amount of hype, become the most wishlisted game, and yet they have failed in every aspect and made no money. It was an unsuccessful scam, and yeah, it was a failure, even in terms of a scam. The studio shut down. It's gone. No more studio. So, yeah, I just thought this was interesting. Bye-bye.